Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the May and August 2021 CIMA Gateway Case Study Examination Pre-Scene Initial Reading. So, I'm going to read the entire pre-scene with you. I hope you join with me, and it will be a sort of learning process. This is the first of this I'm doing in a while since I'm looking at a Gateway pre-scene. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I've received several emails over the past year since I started my YouTube channel and started sharing content, asking for different kind of guidance and support with respect to the MCS, which I haven't really been able to do. But I checked out the pre-scene, and it was on executive training, which is an area I'm involved in, and I felt that it was a very interesting read. And this is the first time I'm going to read it. I only read the first couple of pages. We're going to read it together for the first time, if at all. Or it would be a reiteration and a recap for you in your case, and I hope it will pleasantly surprise me. I want to assure you that I am working on a couple of sort of guidance videos which will help you, especially if you're a self-study student for the Gateway exam, that will help you give you the right advice of how exactly kind of work I've done for the strategic case study, depending on the availability of time. For now, I hope that the initial reading in this case will be of some help for you to go through and grasp the pre-scene in this context. So let's take a look. So interestingly enough, and thankfully also this time they have a COVID-19 statement CIMA has included, which you see in all the pre-scenes. This pre-scene and the case study in general, while aiming to reflect real life, are set in a context where the COVID-19 pandemic has not had an impact. So even last time we had this conversation where the supply chain, if the supply chain gets disrupted, you can't really talk about business in the conventional sense. So that is eliminated, and this time you really they make it very explicit. And thankful for CIMA for making it explicit, because a lot of students were facing a lot of trouble with this. But remember, marks in the exam will be awarded for valid arguments that are relevant to the question and question asked. Answers that make relevant references to the pandemic or social distancing will of course be marked on their merits, only if they are relevant. In most cases, however, candidates may find it helpful to assume that there are no restrictions to the movement of people, goods or services in place. So the company is Trainer, T or TRY. I don't know how you used to denote it. We'll call it Trainer with its full name. And you have the table of contents. Let's immediately start reading. Introduction. Trainer is an unquoted company, private company that offers executive training courses. The company is based in capital city in Northland, but it offers its courses at several international locations. Northland is a developed country that has a high standard of living. The country has an excellent higher education system with relatively high proportions of its population holding undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. Northland's currency is the N dollar. Northlandian company law requires companies to prepare their financial statements in accordance with international financial reporting standards. You're a financial manager at Trainer's head office. Your primary responsibilities are associated with management accounting, and you report to Zosi Sikata, the senior financial manager who reports directly to the finance director. So in general, you are as usual, you're a financial manager reporting to the finance director. So basically, first, as all pre-scenes do, we get an eye on the industry, right? What exactly, and this is a very interesting picture. Let's take a look. The executive training industry. Executive training companies provide short courses typically lasting for 3 to 5 working days. They provide course participants, more commonly known as delegates, with the opportunity to update their existing skills or to develop skills and knowledge that they require in order to be more effective in the workplace. So executive training courses take a variety of different forms, and they are provided by a range of different organizations. Many colleges and universities offer executive training courses, some of which are led by prominent academics. There are also many private sector training companies. Course fees are generally paid by delegates' employers, and so it is usually possible to charge a significant amount for course participation. Senior managers and directors are often entrusted with key decisions, and so enhancing their competence through relevant training can be a highly cost-effective investment. Training is also potentially good for morale. Training courses provide delegates with an opportunity to step back from the pressures of running the business without requiring them to make use of their annual leave entitlements. They also reassure delegates that they are valued by their employers because they take their needs for personal development seriously. Having directors and senior managers participate in ongoing executive training also sets a good example for more junior employees in organizations that encourage their workforces to engage in lifelong learning. So that's a very compact but very effective summary of what executive training does. It's not this, very holistic school model. They are short courses and they are associated to personal development by companies that take personal development seriously. That is where the business exists. Training courses can take two main forms. There are public courses and bespoke courses. Let's take a look. Public courses are open courses that are advertised publicly and can be taken by anyone whose employer is prepared to pay the course fee. The course outline is published in advance, and so delegates can decide whether it suits their needs. The fact that the outline is developed by the training company's experts suggests that it covers material that should be of value, perhaps because the course facilitator regards it as current or because it is frequently misunderstood. Delegates enjoy the opportunity to interact with their fellow participants who will come from different employers and may have very different backgrounds. All delegates have an interest in the course subject matter, and so it may be possible to share insights and seek advice about practical issues arising from the course content. Class sizes are usually restricted to a maximum of, say, 20 to 25 delegates. That makes it easier for individuals to engage with the course content. Then you have bespoke courses, which are more centric to very specific clientele. Bespoke courses are designed in consultation with clients with a view to covering material that is relevant to the client organization's needs and the needs of the delegates. The course might cover a particular topic area from the perspective of the client's industry, or it may be designed to assist a particular group with their specific needs. So either a topic area, which is very particular, or a specific group. For example, if a company has recently appointed new directors, then it might develop a training course to help them understand their responsibilities. Bespoke courses often give delegates an opportunity to relax and interact as a management team without the immediate pressures of being in the work environment. Class sizes for bespoke courses are determined by the client, but are generally small. In principle, it would be possible to offer training to an individual delegate if that was what the client wished. So, public and bespoke, remember, you have to understand the differences, the fundamental differences, and that is where basically the idea of assigning a particular product to a particular client or dealing with the general public would work through. Executive training courses can take two main forms, either developing new skills for delegates or updating delegates' existing skills. So either developing new skills or you update delegates' existing skills. So remember, one other thing is that this section, until we start talking about trainer, our company, this section is general, right? It tells you about the overall industry. So you have to have the objective of understanding the industry as we go through this. The early careers of company directors and senior managers typically start in a functional or professional area. For example, in engineering or finance, generally, careers progress through various stages of seniority, with managers taking on more supervisory responsibilities and moving into a position that requires the ability to contribute to the management of the organization's strategy. For example, a geologist might work her way through the ranks of an oil company before being appointed to the board of directors. As a newly appointed director, she would almost certainly find it useful to receive some training on aspects of her new responsibilities in order to augment the knowledge that she gathered earlier in her career. Training companies frequently offer courses covering generic skills required by senior managers and directors, such as budgeting and financial management, corporate governance, leadership. Training companies also provide courses that update or extend skills and knowledge in ways that are appropriate to the professional backgrounds of senior managers and directors. For example, the following courses might be offered for HR professionals, such as recent developments in employment law, recruitment using social media, artificial intelligence in selection, etc. So even, you would have received so many emails if you're registered, if you have an active subscription with CIMA. They have all these CPD courses that are titled with, different requirements, any updates, IFRS updates, tax laws, blah, blah, blah. They keep sending you all these different training programs. These courses are often designed to meet the needs of professional bodies for continuing professional development, exactly, CPD. For example, the Northland Institute of Personnel and Development requires its members to complete an annual return that confirms they have taken appropriate steps to remain current. While that requirement can be satisfied in several ways, members can demonstrate compliance by participating in formal training. There is considerable competition in this industry, of course. New training companies require little initial investment. Most large hotels rent out meeting rooms that are fully equipped with all of the necessary audio-visual equipment required for presentations. Trainers are often employed as contractors for the duration of their course. Trainers are expected to use their own laptop and presentation software. Here you have a snapshot. All these employees waiting and acquiring knowledge. The low setup costs mean that there is a steady flow of newly established training companies. The resulting competition also means that there is a very high failure rate, with many newly established companies struggling to generate sufficient revenue to remain viable. There are relatively few well-established training companies. Some of them, even I've read recently, even some global companies are facing real problems these days. These companies generally rely heavily on repeat business from corporate clients, who often work closely with training providers to develop relevant training courses for their senior management teams. So repeat business is the way to go, especially I know this very well firsthand. A lot of established players rely on repeat business. Finally, now that we have an image of this industry, which is low barriers to entry, but high failure rate because of the low investment, trainers are very specific individuals who have to use their own equipment, and that brings a little bit of an edge to the industry itself and a sort of unique personality to how trainings happen. Let's try and figure out our company, our history, how have we done, who are we, what are our specializations, etc. So Trainer was founded in the 1990s by the Nazir family. Asif and his sister Miriam were the original directors, and they built up the business together. Asif and Miriam are on Trainer's board, Asif as executive chair and Miriam as chief executive. Trainer's head office is in Northland's capital city. It offers a wide variety of courses that are generally 3 to 5 working days in duration, with its longest courses lasting 10 working days. Trainer is based in an office building that it owns and uses as a base for 60 staff, who are split between administration and accounting, global marketing, and course management. There are also 3 overseas sales offices, each of which is incorporated as a 100% subsidiary in its host country. These employ a total of 24 staff whose job is to market courses to potential delegates from the host countries. So we have a building, we have a base for 60 staff between admin and accounting, marketing and course management. There are 3 sales offices overseas, incorporated as a 100% subsidiary in their respective countries. A total of 24 staff, overseas staff, are working for us. So we have about 84 people working in the company. Head office staff are split into 3 main departments: admin and accounting, global marketing, course management. Where course management is where each training course has a designated course manager who liaises with delegates before they travel and who will be present at the venue to supervise the course and deal with any problems or concerns that arise. Alright, let's take a look at the marketing activities. Trainer has an extensive client base that is drawn mainly from regions that had developing economies until relatively recently, but that have transitioned to maturity. Countries in those regions frequently have large numbers of professional people who occupy senior roles within indigenous and parastatal, which is basically state-owned, parastatal, right, or state-owned organizations. Those managers are typically graduates and have significant business experience. They share the same needs as managers from more developed countries to receive training that challenges them by exposing them to new ideas. Trainer takes two main approaches to marketing its courses. Course managers are active in developing and maintaining relationships with delegates and their employers. There is always a course manager present during any given course, and that gives them an opportunity to promote future bookings in a low-key manner through chatting at breaks and seeking feedback about delegates' needs. So that seems to be a very interesting approach and something that is generic in the industry, where communication, right? You talk to people during the break and getting feedback. Course managers constantly seek useful intelligence, such as asking each course delegate for the contact details of the person who selects and books courses for their organization. Course managers maintain regular email contact with past delegates and their training managers, recommending upcoming scheduled courses or asking whether a bespoke course might be of interest. The three overseas sales offices are each located in a different foreign country: Southland, Eastland, and Westland. Each host country is home to many of the companies who have booked courses in the past. The local sales teams works to develop contacts with employers who might book executive training courses. They also assist the course managers at head office by maintaining contact with local training managers who have previously booked trainers' courses. We seem to have a very smooth operation running, both in terms of local and overseas. The local presence in the respective overseas countries helps maintain bookings from these three countries. This local presence helps maintain bookings from these three countries. The overseas sales officers ensure continuity of contact with important clients and also reduce the pressure on the course managers at head office, particularly when they are overseas and busy supervising courses. Trainer is, however, happy to accept clients from any country. Course managers maintain regular contact with clients and potential clients from many different countries, and new clients are sometimes recruited through Trainer's website. The head office and each of the three overseas sales offices are run as separate profit centers. Each is responsible for signing up delegates for public courses and working with corporate clients to develop bespoke courses. The overseas sales offices incur all costs locally. They are credited with a commission from Trainer's head office whenever they enroll delegates on public courses or sign a contract for a bespoke course. Delegates simply join the public courses that they have signed up for. Bespoke courses negotiated by the overseas sales officers become the responsibility of course managers at head office. So we know how the cost management happens. All costs are incurred locally, which are credited with a commission from the head office when delegates are enrolled. They just join the public courses if they have enrolled for a public one. Bespoke, you have to negotiate with the sales office because it's definitely managed through the course manager at the head office with the liaison officer in the local office. Course locations. None of Trainer's trainings is undertaken in Northland or in the host countries occupied by the overseas sales officers. Courses tend to be conducted in locations that are within a day's traveling distance for both Trainer's staff and course delegates. That is usually defined as being within a day's flying time. Many courses are offered at a location that is an 8-hour flight from capital city and a similar flying time for most delegates. Delegates are willing to make such long journeys because Trainer's courses are generally based in cities that are regarded as attractive destinations and that are usually served by major hub airports. The vast majority of course delegates are senior managers, frequently board members, and they can justify the cost of an intercontinental flight to maintain their competency or to learn new skills. So I see some reference to international travel, and they have to be sustainable to managers who are supposed to fly for trainings, right? Even you might be someone who has worked for a company, who has had the chance, had the opportunity to fly, and the company takes care of the cost, etc. Trainers' courses are all conducted in luxury hotels. These generally offer fully equipped meeting rooms that have the necessary facilities to project the course materials from the trainer's laptop. Trainers generally accommodates the course manager, or rather, trainer generally accommodates the course manager and their trainers at those same hotels. Trainer aims to build relationships with specific hotels so that it can negotiate discounts on meeting room hire and on accommodation, and also ensure that hotel staff are instructed to provide good service. Now, we're basically looking at all the supplementary things that happen. Trainers' courses generally run from 9 in the morning until about 1:30 in the evening or in the noon. Delegates are provided with tea, coffee, and snacks during all breaks and a full lunch at the end of each day's training. Trainer can arrange accommodation for delegates at the hotel, although many delegates work for companies that have corporate accounts with international hotel chains, and so they often make their own arrangements. Ideally, trainer will have 2 or 3 courses running simultaneously in any given hotel. The same course manager can then supervise more than one course, and the costs associated with travel and accommodation can be spread across multiple courses. Now let's talk about trainers. So being this scale, this large company it is, trainer has approximately 300 trainers, all of whom are employed on a part-time basis. Each has an area of specialism and must fit in presenting courses for trainer alongside their other work and personal commitments. Trainers are recruited mainly through direct approaches made by trainers' course managers. They might, for example, study catalogs of major publishers looking for authors whose books are in relevant areas. Once recruited, those trainers may be able to recommend colleagues and acquaintances who would also be worth approaching. Many of trainers' courses require specialist knowledge of topics that are likely to challenge many potential trainers. For example, several courses are designed to assist delegates who have recently been appointed as pension fund trustees, which means that trainers must be capable of delivering credible and useful courses on the management of different types of pension schemes. Trainers are required to develop their own course materials, and even if the course is a public one that has been taught previously by someone else, trainers do not receive any separate payment for developing the materials, but they are motivated by the possibility that they will be asked to repeat the course at a different location and at a later date, so they will have little or no preparation for any repeats. Truly, trainers don't receive compensation for developing material. Delegates are asked to evaluate trainers at the conclusion of each course. The course manager then provides the trainer with feedback and suggestions for improving future courses. The course manager will also have sat in on the course for at least part of the time and will have personal observations to make. It is not sufficient for courses to be technically correct. They also have to be delivered in a lively and engaging manner. Trainers are only asked back to deliver future courses if their overall performance is deemed satisfactory. Indeed, you won't get repeat business if your performance is unsatisfactory, right? Trainer has many trainers who have worked for the company for several years, but even long-serving trainers can be withdrawn from service if their course evaluations are weak. It can be challenging to deliver courses with qualified trainers. Even a 3-day course requires a day's travel both at the beginning and the end. And so, the trainer must be able to commit to a week or more at a time. Trainer requires trainers to commit to the whole course from beginning to end, because it is not cost effective to fly 2 trainers out to share a few days each on a training course. So look, one thing that you can be conscious of is this matter of cost. Every paragraph they keep talking about cost, and this is something Cost optimization is something that all mainstream training companies, executive coaching and executive training companies, are massively focused on. And COVID actually changed the game with a lot of these trainings being pushed to the online delivery platforms. Trainer does not employ any trainers on a permanent basis, which can make it difficult to facilitate courses. Some trainers are unable to commit to more than 1 or 2 courses a year, despite the fact that trainer pays an attractive daily fee. Most competent trainers have significant prior work commitments and may have to take annual leave from their full-time jobs in order to accept an assignment. Some trainers are full-time lecturers at colleges or universities who use part of their vacation time to work for trainer. Trainer forbids its trainers from working for any other training company. Normally, it's an industry norm. Any who are found to be doing so will not be used again, even if they are popular with delegates. Sort of like the unspoken, no, rather very outspoken code of training companies. Now, let's talk about course managers. Course managers, who are very important, have a range of responsibilities. They create schedules of courses, both public and bespoke, that will be potentially attractive to clients. Public courses may deal with obvious topics such as leadership, and so trainer may be competing directly with other training companies in order to attract delegates. Course managers work constantly to develop leads with corporate clients. They approach delegates from past courses in order to ask about their needs for further training, either through participation in a public course or through a bespoke course. Course managers also work with the HR departments of corporate clients to identify the managers who are responsible for training budgets and who might be in a position to request bookings. Then course managers use break times during courses to interact with delegates. They use these opportunities to gather intelligence, such as checking that they have the latest contact details for the corporate managers who make training decisions. Course managers also engage with delegates to ensure that they are happy with the course so far and to assist with any problems that they might have with travel or accommodation. They also organize social activities during the course. Course managers are also expected to plan and make the arrangements for future courses. They need to recruit trainers, organize flights and accommodation, and track bookings for public courses to ensure that numbers are viable. Those duties might conflict with overseeing courses that are underway, and so they may have to take time out of the training room to work on their laptops and mobile phones. So, this whole sort of recruiting, organizing, scheduling, a lot of admin related work is associated to course management. Course managers are responsible for briefing staff at the 3 overseas sales offices on any information they have collected that will help the sales office staff to sell courses to delegates and employers from their host countries. The sales office staff and course managers must coordinate their efforts to make the most effective use of contacts. Marketing activities carried out by the course managers are supported by colleagues who are based in trainers' 3 foreign subsidiaries. Each of these subsidiaries is based in a host country that is home to several of trainers' major clients. The subsidiary staff are responsible for maintaining good relationships with those local clients, often using information collected by the course managers. They also engage with potential clients in their host countries. So the course management function is not to be taken lightly. Topic managers. Trainer offers a wide range of courses, broadly grouped under the topic areas of management, accounting and finance, specialized courses, oil and gas engineering, and health and safety. Each topic area has its own topic manager who has overall responsibility for the public and bespoke courses within that topic area. Topic managers supervise the activities of course managers. For example, at the conclusion of each course, the course manager who was responsible for supervising it must compile a report for the topic manager that summarizes the delegate feedback along with the costs and revenues. The topic managers must also approve the appointment of any new trainers before they can conduct a course for the first time. So basically we've got several topic areas and these topics are managed by the topic manager who takes up the overall responsibility for all the kinds of courses, both public and bespoke, under that topic. So finally, we have a sort of snapshot of how this whole thing works. As far as trainer is concerned, you have the topic manager and you have course managers reporting to the respective topic managers. There are 5 topic managers, one for each topic area of management, accounting and finance, specialized courses, oil and gas engineering, and health and safety. Topic managers supervise the course managers who specialize in their respective areas. They are also responsible for managing quality in their topic areas. So course managers, there are 30, each specializing in a particular topic area. They have a broad range of responsibilities for each course that they manage. So here you have a summary of what we read in detail above. Scheduling courses, selling places on public courses to delegates' employers, and agreeing contracts for private courses. Engaging trainers and making practical arrangements for flights and accommodation. Interacting with delegates during courses and working to ensure their satisfaction. Collecting delegate feedback at the conclusion of courses and preparing a report for the relevant topic manager. Okay, so here we have a sample of the public courses that trainer offers. Let's take a look. Management. So you have leadership skills for the technical manager in the non-technical role. Interesting. So mostly, I think when a technical manager gets promoted to admin and supervisory roles, which are not technical, like if an engineer becomes a manager, right, manager of people, now the role doesn't involve engineering work, the role involves supervisory work, admin work. So leadership skills. An introduction to HR, strategic leadership for directors, managing effective teams, corporate social responsibility, managing risk, serving on the audit committee, corporate governance, marketing for directors, big data analytics, supply chain management for directors, cyber security for directors. Just a few examples. Accounting and finance, accounting for directors, financial statement analysis, understanding IFRSs, valuing companies, raising finance, recent developments in financial reporting. Specialized courses like valuing pension funds, pension fund board responsibilities, internal audit in parastatals, board duties in parastatals, valuation in alternative energy organizations, governance in charities, raising venture capital in the technology industry. Not bad. Oil and gas engineering, oil and gas accounting and introduction to the oil and gas industry, oil and gas safety, procurement in the oil and gas industry, managing construction in the oil and gas industry, offshore safety management, risk management in oil exploration. Then you have health and safety, risk and incident analysis, health and safety in the oil and gas industry, safety compliance and inspection, an introduction to health and safety management, risk assessment in vehicle operation and maintenance, risk assessment in manufacturing operations. So looking at this itself, like anyway, we seem to have around 300 trainers. This seems to be a massive company. The sample list itself proves that trainer is heavily specialized and heavily also detailed and offers a large amount of variety in terms of trainings. Some of these courses are very popular and run several times a year. For example, accounting for directors and managing risk both run 4 times a year. Bespoke courses can be based on public courses or they can be designed to the client's specific needs. For example, the directors of a major teaching hospital recently requested a course on the recruitment and training of junior nurses. Very ad hoc, right? Very bespoke. One of trainer's course managers identified a trainer with considerable experience in that area and organized a 4-day course that covered the client's requirements. There are 30 course managers, each of whom specializes in one of the 5 topic areas, although there is a constant need for them to be flexible. If there are 3 courses running simultaneously in a particular venue, then it is more cost effective to send just one course manager to supervise them all, even if they are spread across unrelated topics. May also be cheaper to have the same course manager stay at a particular hotel for 2 or 3 weeks in order to oversee a succession of different courses, rather than incur the cost of airfares to change between course managers. That can mean that a course manager who specializes in, say, accounting and finance must also supervise courses from different other topics. Fair enough. Anyway, cost management is a concern, and if you have the time and if you have the freedom, might as well delegate that. Right, so here we have a snapshot of the management structure of trainer. You have Asif Nazir, Executive Chair, and Miriam Nazir, Chief Executive. So basically family owned, right? Partner owned. Then you have Janusz Riklo, who is the Marketing Director in charge of course development, course marketing, and overseas sales offices. Marja Mikkelsen, Finance Director in charge of management accounting and financial reporting. So you're probably reporting to a senior manager who is reporting to Marja. Federica Mugherini, who is HR Director, staff recruitment and staff retention are the areas that they are responsible for. The tactical aspects under these three. Marketing Director is in charge of topic managers and course managers, so they report to MD. Accounting staff reports to FD, which probably includes you as well. Congratulations. HR and admin staff reports to HR Director. So trainers board comprises only of executive directors. That is common practice for unquoted companies. Asif and Miriam share responsibility for the overall strategic direction of the company. Asif chairs board meetings and deals with key external stakeholders, including lenders and shareholders. Miriam focuses more on oversight of ongoing operations. Asif and Miriam each own 10% of trainer. The remainder of the shares are owned by individuals who are invited to invest to assist with the company's expansion. The trainer group comprises a parent company based in Northland and 300% overseas subsidiaries: Trainer Southland, Trainer Eastland, and Trainer Westland. Each of the subsidiaries is a sales office. All courses are organized by course managers from trainer's head office. So sales, these subsidiaries are just distribution. They just do the sales, pitching, and distribution. Everything happens centrally. Fairly logical because it's a private company and two people, right? Asif and Miriam head the company, and they would rather have a lot of control on location than, delegating things to overseas operations, which administration can be really tricky. Then we have the business model, all centric on value. So defining value, creating value, delivering value, and capturing residual value. So under defining value, trainer aims to meet the needs of senior executives for relevant and engaging training. To create value, trainer creates value through ensuring that it understands the training and status needs of the delegates who participate in its courses. Then you move to delivering value. Trainer delivers value by working with professionals whose skills and backgrounds enable them to meet delegates' expectations. And finally, captures residual value. Trainer works with trainers and training venues to manage costs, while charging clients a realistic fee for the high quality service being provided. Define, create, deliver, and capture residual value. So trainer focuses on developing courses that are relevant to client needs. And we have a few contextual points offered here. For example, it offers several courses that are aimed at delegates who have recently gained new responsibilities and as non-executive directors. For example, a course on audit committees has been extremely popular with non-executive directors who do not have an accounting background. It's a little tricky when you appoint someone without financial backgrounds to the audit committee, but still it happens. It's not unheard of. So when that is the case, this kind of training can be very useful. The need for such courses only became apparent because of conversations between course managers and delegates during breaks and lunches on unrelated courses. Delegates also have high expectations with regard to the ambience of courses. They appreciate the fact that public courses offer the opportunity to network with senior managers from other companies. On all courses, they enjoy the opportunity to travel and to work in pleasant surroundings. Trainer always organizes at least one social event, such as a dinner for delegates, to enhance that ambience. Trainer pays close attention to feedback from delegates on its trainers. New trainers are monitored closely by course managers, but even experienced trainers are supervised, and any whose evaluations are deteriorating are unlikely to be invited back. Course managers are expected to control costs carefully. The company always uses good quality hotels, but it negotiates substantial discounts in return for offering repeat businesses. Trainers are offered generous daily rates for days spent training, but no payment is made for traveling time or for preparing course materials, even if the course is cancelled at the last minute after the course has been written. Trainer insists on being paid in advance by all clients, thereby eliminating the costs of uncollectible receivables. Alright, so you have a pretty good image by now of how trainer operates. Let's get into the minutiae of the costing. The costs and revenues associated with a typical course are as follows. So look at the line items. Not going to focus on the dollar figures. You can do that separately in the financials analysis that you do. You have delegate fees, which is the revenue. You charge about $3,000, maybe roughly 15 delegates maybe. Alright, so this particular example uses 15 delegates. It can be more, it can be less. Let's look at the cost items. Commission to overseas sales officers, cost of training room, snacks and lunches, trainer's fee. I like the fact that the trainer's fee is the highest here. Airfares for trainer and course manager, accommodation for trainer and course manager, entertaining delegates, course manager, head office costs, and profit from the course. There you go. Each course is the responsibility of an individual course manager. Course fees are based on a set price of $3,000 per delegate on a public course and $45,000 per bespoke course. These set prices are established and updated by the board. Course managers have limited discretion to discount those fees in order to sell places on public courses or reach agreement on bespoke courses. Entertaining costs are incurred because trainer organizes social activities for delegates in the evenings. These include providing tickets for sporting or cultural events and a dinner on the last evening before the end of the course. The charge for the course manager is based on a daily rate that reflects the average course manager's annual salary and the expected number of days spent each year supervising. This charge can vary depending on the number of courses being supervised simultaneously. Course managers are expected to supervise up to 3 courses at any one time, but there may only be 1 or 2 courses running at one time in a particular location. Head office costs are based on the running costs of staffing and operating the head office in capital city, including topic managers' salaries. The total cost is apportioned based on expected annual costs divided by the estimated number of courses. These course managers are responsible for making all the arrangements in advance of their courses. They usually have discretion over budgeted costs and revenues, but are expected to notify their topic managers in advance if the expected surplus from a course is less than $10,000. Delegate fees are the main concern, with some courses being less popular than others. Trainer will sometimes run a public course at close to break even or even at a small loss if the delegates who have signed up for it are from an important client. Costs can also be affected by seasonal variations in the cost of airfares and hotel rates. Very important paragraph there on the different metrics that affect your cost. Course managers submit a statement of costs and revenues to the relevant topic manager at the conclusion of each course. Course manager performance is evaluated in part on the surplus from the course. There is also a non-financial aspect to the evaluation of each course. At the end of each course, the course manager asks each delegate to complete a short questionnaire which asks them to rate each aspect of the course using a 5-point scale, where 1 is extremely dissatisfied and 5 is extremely satisfied. Aspects include the administration of the course content, and the trainer's presentation skills. The course manager collates the responses and discusses the results with the trainer. The course manager then prepares a report drawing upon delegate feedback, the manager's personal observation of the course, and the trainer's responses. The reports and the delegates' questionnaires are submitted to the relevant topic manager upon the course manager's return to head office. That's the process, right? That's pretty much how the feedback improves, or the feedback is utilized by the course manager to elevate the quality, which is one of the biggest responsibilities of the course managers that we noticed here. managing quality in their topic areas. When a course manager organizes a course but is unable to supervise it personally, then the colleague who undertakes the supervision is responsible for collecting and reporting back on delegate feedback. The delegate feedback is extremely important for trainer. The course manager who organized the course must review the report and comment on it, as well as preparing the statement of costs and revenue. Right. Next, we have the set of extracts from trainer's annual report. So please make sure that you do your financials analysis thoroughly. We seem to have improved revenue wise and profit wise. I'm not going to linger for a very long time here. We seem to be paying a large amount of dividends, almost the entirety, right, of our profits. Interesting. And we seem to have a pretty strong balance sheet. 28 million of non-current assets, or 29 million total assets, 16 million equity. We have about 12 million retained earnings. And there's a note that there's a foreign currency reserve, considering we have forex operations, and we have a rival training company, a competitor that operates in a very similar manner to trainer, who is Masterclass. It offers a wide range of public and bespoke courses that are facilitated by part-time trainers. As with trainer, Masterclass is based in Northland's capital city, but it provides most of its training in other countries. Alright, so bulk of the training is from other countries. You've got an image of their financial statements as well. Finally, you have the last part, the final segment of the pre-scene, which is the news reports. We have about 5 news items here. Northland Business Daily reports that parastatals are in transition. Parastatals are essentially companies that are owned by a government but that are managed by a board of directors. Many recently developed countries use this structure to operate utilities such as electricity, gas, and telecommunications. The boards of parastatals are held accountable to the government in a similar manner to the accountability of any company's board to its shareholders. The only real difference is that parastatals generally have more complicated purposes. While they may be expected to operate at a profit, they are also expected to operate in the national interest. That could mean that they must cap prices in order to ensure that the needs of domestic and commercial customers are met. Right. So the purposes can be more complicated given that there's a separate board. That could mean they cap prices. The roles of parastatals are changing in many countries with a greater emphasis on creating profit and maximizing wealth. Nancy Chitera, chair of the Eastland Telecommunications Corporation, described this change when she announced that a substantial loan had been raised in order to finance the installation of new optical cable links across the country. She stated that this project had been evaluated primarily on a commercial basis and that Eastland's Minister of Telecommunications was looking forward to increased dividends once the project has been completed. So, you've got parastatals that are shifting to an objective of profit and wealth maximization. Need to kind of, well, it depends on the variant and the question. If we are also put into that kind of context, we'll have to deal with it accordingly, considering the stakeholder requirement update. In this case, the government. Southland Gazette has a news item headlining TECO's board criticized over training course. All right. The Minister for Telecommunications has criticized the board of the Telecommunications Corporation of Southland, TECOS, the parastatal responsible for the provision of telecommunications across Southland, for attending a training session in a luxury hotel in Hopeland. He queried the cost of this training and asked for a justification of its value. The spokesperson for TECOS explained that the course was a bespoke course on business intelligence systems. The TECOS board is considering the acquisition of a BI system, business intelligence, and had taken the opportunity to discuss the issues associated with doing so under the guidance of an expert in data analysis. BI systems are relevant to TechOS because they are used to make more effective use of data. Very true. Business intelligence is a critical aspect of telecommunications operations that is generally already being collected or is available from external sources. The systems enable managers to make unstructured analysis that can be presented in many different ways. So-called data mining enables managers to process both structured and unstructured data, even if none of that data had been gathered with that particular interest in mind. Such a system would be of immense value to TechOS. It is also worth noting that telecommunications companies are interested in any developments that might encourage demand for the transmission of data. So again, we don't really have a direct connection to our company, but there are concerns about heavy expenditure for luxury hotel based training in a different country, looks like. The spokesperson assured the Southland Gazette that the TechOS board had worked very hard throughout this 5-day course, that the directors had returned to Southland with a much deeper understanding of a key technology. So as long as the cost is justified, sure, but you have to see how the story unfolds. Northland Daily News reports action stations stand by your spreadsheets. Northland's Navy has announced that it plans to incorporate budgets and financial planning into the training programs for all of its senior officers. This potential business for us. Commander Andrews, Navy spokesperson, assured the Northland Daily News that the additional training would be added to the curriculum and would not be replacing any of the existing content. He says, our officers will still be able to navigate ships and operate their systems, but we have identified a growing need for training in various aspects of management alongside technical specialisms. Ships captains frequently have to manage complicated budgets. Fair enough. The Navy pointed out that it has always trained its officers to be competent managers. For example, all officers have to manage the crew members in their divisions, and so they are all taught to be competent in human resource management. The new initiative will simply broaden the scope of management training. Then, Northland Business Daily also reports home workers need to check over their shoulders. Interesting. It is becoming increasingly common for office workers to work from home. The workplace has changed, with individuals being asked to hot desk in the office rather than having their own personal desk. Files are stored on laptops issued by employers, and networks can be accessed from anywhere that has an internet connection. Previous concerns that home working inhibited interactions are being overcome by teleconferencing. Those same laptops that are used for email and work storage can also be used to conduct online meetings, with colleagues being able to make eye contact and read facial expressions and body language. Teleconferencing is not without its drawbacks, and there have been some well-documented disasters. Maurice Duchamp, author of the self-help book Get Yourself Promoted This Year, advises the following: look over your shoulder before you join the meeting, because your colleagues will see exactly that view. A bookcase full of intelligent books makes you look studious. A sink full of dirty dishes is not so good. Participants are also often guilty of looking at their laptop screens instead of their cameras. That makes it look as if you are avoiding eye contact. That is not the case in this. I'm just reading the document. Invest in a good webcam. You will never look good when seen through a low resolution camera on a cheap laptop. Check your internet connection. A slow connection will affect the quality of the audio and the video on your meeting. Finally, make sure that the other members of your household are aware that you need privacy. It is a distraction if your partner or your children wander into the background or play loud music in another room. Many large companies have strict rules that prevent home-based participation in teleconference meetings with clients or other external contacts. When a teleconference is necessary, then the meeting should be hosted from a properly equipped meeting room. at the corporate office. So basically just a few guidance, pointers, advices on how working from home and especially attending meetings, online meetings, can be handled better. Then you have extracts from Grumpy Trainer's very unofficial blog. All right. I hope this, as usual, are a little funny as well. So someone says, worst course ever. I have just got home after a very horrible bespoke course. My course manager had told me to keep things light because the delegates were looking for a basic introduction to financial reporting. Unfortunately, one of those delegates was the client's finance director, who complained constantly that he was learning nothing. He kept asking really complicated questions that were interesting to him, but that would have really confused the other board members if I had answered them. Needless to say, he persuaded the other delegates to give me a poor evaluation. Can happen because the expectations were set incorrectly, right? Comments. I have had similar experiences. I think that part of the problem is that the course managers promise the clients that our courses will suit any possible delegate, even when they have very different needs and expectations. Quiet Shouter says. Grumpy Trainer. Okay, then we have Lonely Talker. It will be interesting to see whether you get asked back. Let's see. Is it asking too much? So Grumpy Trainer says, I've just finished the first day of a new course. My plane was due to land at 3:20 in the morning, but a delay meant it didn't get in until 7. By the time I had cleared immigration and got to the hotel, there was barely time to have a quick shower, change into my suit before heading straight to the training room. I hope I didn't look too tired today. First impressions count. Anyway, I'm off to bed for a sleep. Comments. Trainer always asks us to fly the day before we start teaching. I used to do courses for masterclass, and they used to fly us down a day early. That meant you could check into your hotel room and spend a day recovering from the journey before you had to start teaching. Dan Planet. Okay, so here of course the situation is there was a delay in the flight. Goodbye forever. Whoa. So Grumpy Trainer says, I won't be teaching for Trainer ever again. I was supposed to be starting a course today. I spent a week preparing the materials and then got up early this morning to fly from North Airport to catch the intercontinental flight from Capital City Airport. When I tried to board my flight at Capital City, I was told that my ticket had been cancelled while I was in mid-air. Apparently, the delegates had some last-minute problems with their visas and so they couldn't travel. And Trainer cancelled the course at literally the very last minute. I had to wait at Capital City Airport until lunchtime before I could fly back to North Airport. Wow, that's actually a little bit of a horrible experience. I hope Grumpy Trainer at least got paid. Comments. Bad luck. You could always do what Dan Planet did when he decided to quit. He agreed to teach a course that was a repeat, so he didn't have to prepare any new materials. Then he deliberately missed his flight. My God. The course manager was left sitting in a training room with a group of unhappy delegates. Apparently, it took 2 days to locate a suitable replacement and fly her to the venue. Interesting. So even though the first 25 pages paints such a beautiful image of Trainer, the blog posts actually show the dark side of the training industry, all the bad experiences. In fact, I can tell you that all these 3 blog posts are experiences I have personally had. So I totally agree. But might as well, I hope Grumpy Trainer doesn't take any drastic and impulsive decisions. All the very best to Grumpy Trainer, and that marks the end of the initial reading of the CIMA Gateway and the Management Case Study Examination pre-scene content. We've gone through the entire pre-scene. I hope the exercise will be your initial and that very positive experience of absorbing the content. It's a very, very interesting case study. So do your analysis well, do it in detail, do the financials analysis as well. have a very good grasp of the company. You know, the MCS is one that you approach by technical judgment. So you have to ensure that your technical judgment is very sound and very strong. So on that note, all the very best, ladies, gentlemen, learners. Stay safe and make sure that you prepare smartly rather than, you know, always remember quality over quantity. All the best and happy learning. God bless you.